Alrighty, so we have Carla Esparza versus Yan Xiaonan. So Yan, she has a 4-inch height advantage over Esparza. She's on a 6-fight win streak in the UFC. She's 6-0 in the UFC. Carla Esparza is on a 4-fight win streak herself. Alright, so we'll break down the striking of these two. Alright, so I'm gonna gloss over it a little bit. I mean, it's not competitive on the feet. Esparza's gonna get pieced up on the feet. So Yan, she's got super fast hands, she's always throwing combinations, she comes from that Sunder background, so she uses a lot of lead leg offense to keep distance from her opponent. She's got really good movement, she's got good distance control, which will help her in this one. Even though it is in the smaller octagon, I think, her footwork can really help her get away from the grappling of Esparza. And she's very good at stick and moving with the jab. She'll throw a straight right in the pocket or when she's exchanging in the clinch. When she's in the pocket, she throws fast, tight combinations. At distance, she's throwing side kick, inside low kicks. Just a lot of lead leg offense to just maintain that distance. But, where Esparza wants it, obviously, is on the mat or in the wrestling transitions. Carla Esparza, she's good at ducking under a jab or a two and then looking for a single leg entry, hanging on to the single, looking to crack down on that single, looking to run the pipe on that single leg. She'll also transition to a double, look to drive it all the way to the fence, cut an angle, try and finish it near the fence. And what worries me with Xiaonan is that she barely fights for underhooks. Like in the Gedalia fight, Claudia could get double unders on her pretty much any time she wanted, honestly, but she just didn't end up going for it for some reason. And, once Xiaonan gets taken down, she looks to get back to her feet immediately, but Esparza, she's kind of perfected the lay and pray game plan. Like, she has zero intention of passing guard. She only sits in your guard, and she'll only look to throw ground and pound once the ref's about to stand her up. So yeah, it is what it is. Alright, how these guys win fights. So for Esparza, she's got pretty good takedowns. She's not an elite wrestler like Tatiana Suarez, but she's got good takedowns. She can take most women's strawweights down. She's got good scrambles as well, and she does have good top control, lay and pray. So for Yan Xiaonan, she's got really fast hand speed, her volume and her pacing is good. I think she could be a serious problem in a 5-round fight, just depending on the style matchup, but I think her pace is good for a 5-round fight. And how these guys lose fights, so for Xiaonan, she has poor get-ups and she has poor takedown defense, which kind of isn't great when you're versing Esparza. And for Esparza, when she loses is when she can't get a wrestling going, or she's facing a superior grappler, like a Gedalia or a Tatiana Suarez. Path to victory for these two, so for Xiaonan, look to stick and move, and also just don't get too predictable with the strikes and the combinations that you're throwing, just because you don't want her to get the read on when you're advancing, and then she's just going to level change pretty much every time. Also, if you do get taken down, just be very active off bottom with elbows. I think I've seen her on bottom in the past in the UFC, and she was pretty aggressive with the elbows. But yeah, once you get taken down, look for elbows off bottom, but ultimately look to get back to your feet and just keep it on the feet. And if she tries to engage in the clinch, don't engage in the clinch, just look to get out of the clinch immediately. And for Esparza, look to set up your takedowns with pressure, coming forward, throwing a few strikes. Just wait till Yan overextends on one of her strikes, and then you can level change there. Also, if you get the read that she's throwing combinations, like say after she throws the jab, she throws a 2-3 after it, then, once she throws the jab, then look to duck under, and while she's on the 2-3, you're already onto her hips and, she's on her butt or whatever. Alright, so how I see the fight going, I really like Yan Xiaonan's style. I think I really like her stand-up, I really like her ferocity on the feet. On the feet, Carla has nothing for Yan. It would look just like Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Carla Esparza, like back in the day. But, Yan has shown real poor takedown defense and no urgency to get back to her feet in the past. And, the smaller cage in the octagon definitely does favor Esparza. And I feel like this fight might play out similar to Marina Rodriguez versus Carla Esparza, and, we know how that went. Judges seem to love Esparza's lay and pray style instead of, recognizing her opponents and just piecing her up from bottom position. I think the judging with top position is pretty, it's not very nuanced, and it seems a little lazy to me, just how they judge fights with, people in top position, where opponents are doing much more work off bottom. I'd really like to see judges recognize bottom work a little bit more. or else, you know, just these rule set changes, wrestlers are just gonna run the sport in like 2 years. Like with all the stalling and stuff that they allow on the fence and on the ground, like I feel like the MMA rule sets are just absolutely tailor-made for wrestlers at the moment. But it is what it is. So yeah, if you know, I think judges really like her style, and I'm gonna pull up her record, but I don't really think that she won many of these fights, honestly. So yeah, Morena Rodriguez, close fight. I thought Rodriguez won. You know, Esparza wasn't doing shit on top. Split decision win, and then I thought she lost to Waterson as well. She keeps winning these coin flips somehow. With Grasso, I thought she lost as well. You know, I might be a little biased because I hate her style so much, but you know, I think she's losing these fights. Honestly, I think a draw. I think it was a 10-8 for what's her name, Grasso in round 3. She beat her up. She smashed her. It was nothing like the 10-9s in the first 2 rounds for Esparza. If you want to score it 10-9 both for Esparza anyway. You know, I thought this fight was close. Probably I would give the edge to Esparza in this one, but you know, pretty close still. And I thought, yeah, well, she definitely deserved to lose this fight, but she didn't even deserve one judge's scorecards, in my opinion, and she somehow snaked one. Then Tatiana Suarez showed her what a real wrestler is, and then I thought she lost this fight as well. I thought Calvillo beat her on the feet pretty easily. I thought, I can't remember too much, but I remember thinking I was surprised at the decision, and I thought Calvillo did enough on the feet, and I thought, who did the wrestling in that one? I think it was Esparza, but she didn't do shit on top. Just like every single fight, she doesn't do shit on top. But yeah, it is what it is, and yeah, we'll go back. Like, if I was a judge, should be 0-7 in the last 7 fights, honestly. Alright, so, yeah, you know, but what annoys me so much is that I think Esparza has another chance to halt an entertaining prospect here, which pisses me off more than you can imagine. But, you know, I am gonna pick Jan. I do think she's going to outwork her on bottom. She's going to outwork her in the transition. She's going to land a bunch of damage. I think she's going to be dominating the stand-up. But this fight does reek of a split decision. Like, judges just love her style so much. So I wouldn't bet Jan at juiced odds just because Esparza's going to get her down a few times, and she's going to get a decent amount of top control probably. It's just going to be what the judges are looking at and what the judges like more. And I hope they make the correct decision this time. But I'm not confident, so I do think it's going to be a split decision probably, and I think you're going to be sweating if you're betting Jan at juiced odds. Alright, so the prediction is, honestly, this fight's basically pick'em, in my opinion. Like, as much of a pure pick'em as you can get. But if I had to pick somebody, I'd probably just say Jan by decision. I think she has more ways to win, and I think she can still win, even if, you know, Esparza does get her down. But you know, I think it's really close. I think it should be a pick'em, honestly. So I did bet Esparza, and that would soften the blow of her just absolutely ruining another entertaining prospect with her boring lay and pray style. So if I were to earn some money on her, that would probably quell my anger a little bit. The fact that she won another decision and ruined another prospect. But, you know, I do think this fight is basically a pick'em.